after we got the big reveal of WWE 2K22's MyGM mode, there's a lot of things that I'm excited about, and today I'm going to give you 5 things that are really cool and exciting about MyGM. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Assemble. I'm Matt. Great to have you here. If it's your first time here, welcome to the show. 2K22 is days away, it feels like. The latest 2K22 Ringside Report gave us full in-depth coverage of MyGM. I'm super pumped about it. There's still a lot of questions to be answered. Things like the rest of the roster, some of the release stars, are they in the game for sure? Match types is a giant one, but today, let's take a few minutes and let's talk about MyGM and just some of the things, at least for me, that are really cool and exciting. Here we go. First up, custom GM. Now, when we first got the reveal, they talked about how we can have 4 GMs: Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. What was funny was actually with the latest reveal that they did, they talked about be Sonya Deville, be Adam Pearce, and others. And they don't talk about Shane McMahon, do they? Do know that we are going to get those 4 GMs, but we're getting custom GM in there too. They showed off being able to create your own GM, male or female, pick out their suits, their attires, animations, everything. And this is exciting because it opens the door for so many possibilities of bringing in Teddy Long if we want to.
It will be an 8-man tag team elimination match.
GMs of the past, yourself, like whatever you want to do, it's going to be able to really open things up and create a really fun experience and give us more replayability by being able to have custom GMs, or go straight up with having just the normal GM that they have in there, Shane McMahon. The next thing that has me pretty pumped up is going to be like just all the budget mechanics, the show logistics that you can control and change as you kind of go through your entire GM mode. And I'm talking about things like selecting your arena, unlocking new arenas, adding special effects and lighting to your show, adding more of the road crew to your show, advertising signs. All of that stuff is going to build up your universe, build up your GM universe, and make it something unique and different. And that's what I really think is going to be fun for this, and give players like that constant replayability and get us back in there time and time again. When I think of building out an entire 50-week GM mode, it's a lot, and it sucks on one hand because a lot of players are saying that, you know, I don't want to start off in a high school gym when I've got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar on the card. That seems silly. And I get that. But at the same time, it's going to be fun to be able to kind of build things out and see how everything progresses when you are going from very small shows, performance center shows with the Raw logo in the background, and building up to full arenas and stadiums and all of that. You feel like you're hitting goals, and that's what you want, right? You are working towards something and you feel like there is a payoff, and that's important with this. And having those show logistics to customize them, maybe even be able to tailor ticket prices for big shows. I like all of that stuff. That's the type of thing that gets you hooked on one of these modes. Now, another one that I'm excited for is actually the draft itself. Being able to actually have like 8 rounds of the draft superstars that are currently on the roster, draft legends, but also they did mention that you can go in and load your draft. So I can actually load up kind of my own custom draft pool and have that ready to go, so that Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever, are gonna load up specific superstars, and I can, I guess, preload the draft pool that we're gonna select from. So it's not always gonna be the exact same standard roster that we have to pick from. We don't have to do that. And along with that, with the draft, is that we have those 8 rounds, and you can go in and select and go through the continuous draft beyond that, or you can kind of let the AI just pre-populate everything and go through and do the selections for you. That stuff is really fun, and again, it's gonna allow players to create these draft pools and scenarios the way they want. And if they are allowing, like they've said, or they're going to allow the actual co-op piece, or competing even with the AI, going through the draft process is a fun process, because you also have your budget to deal with and understanding what you're going to do, making those picks. Are you going to run people like Roman Reigns for a giant contract, or are you only going to have him for a couple of weeks? Because all the budget stuff you got to keep in mind too. And with that, being able in your MyGM mode, loading custom superstars. Cross-platform is confirmed for the game. We are going to be able to download from Xbox, PlayStation, vice versa, and see those custom creations. So we're going to have a lot to pick with from online, and that's awesome. And that's going to really play into MyGM when I want to be able to have maybe the whole AEW roster in there. Maybe just having a ton of legends that I want to download from the creation suite, because combining things like having the ability to upload renders of superstars, having probably, from the sounds of it, better creation mechanics involved, so that, like the devs have said, your created superstars are supposed to look on par with the renders of the in-game stars. So like John Cena or The Rock's render that looks really, really accurate. Your custom superstar shouldn't stand out in a bad way and look like something that is really, really just not accurate, and look like something that is really custom and created. So when I'm going to build out my roster bigger and bigger with some release stars from other promotions and legends, I think that's going to make the draft process really, really fun. I think about building out a Monday Night Raw from the 90s to 2000s when I want that huge roster, and it's mostly legends, and I want to create Raw's War, and I want to go back and do that and do it with the draft, or go back to the 2000s when the draft was originally brought up in WWE, and do things like have Vince McMahon be one of the GMs and have Ric Flair be the other GM, or Eric Bischoff, or whatever you want to do. That kind of stuff is really, really cool. We can create more storylines in there. So unlocking that piece, it's still more customization, and it's not as restrictive as I thought it might have been. And the last one that's got me kind of curious and excited for is power cards. They made a big deal about having power cards in the game, that your specific general managers that you select from like Adam Pearce or Sonya Deville, will have certain attributes and power cards associated with them to give a boost in morale, superstar health, like all these different things. And then there's a whole menu of power cards to be able to collect and use and buy with the in-game currency. This is good too, because we're not talking about having to actually buy using real dollars to buy these in-game things and the in-game perks like these power cards. They're done with your in-game budget in your MyGM mode. Superstar training, health spa, like free bookings, all of this stuff is going to be in the power cards, and this is really cool. They can build off of this for a long period of time to see what's working, introduce more power cards possibly down the road with live updates. But this will help with like superstars morale, or if someone is going to be injured, and keep them going. If you really want to be able to push a rivalry longer, you can create better legends with all of this. Like there's a lot that you can put behind all this. So I'm curious how even the storefront for power cards is going to change and evolve over time, as they're going to want to build upon this. And I'm highlighting this because, again, this is a big thing that 2K really focused on during the MyGM showcase and the ringside report, of how much effort is put into this. It's a whole category and menu in there for us to use. So I want to see it play out. I want to see how effective it is, and to see how much I really do use it, and how does it actually really play out within the MyGM mode that I set up. So let me know, what are you excited for? Give me 5 things that excites you for MyGM. Maybe even things that you're concerned about, but hit me up in the comments. And if you guys want to know more about MyGM mode, this video right here, I got a full deep dive and analysis, everything that was covered in the ringside report. So click on this guy right here, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.